Hi, this is Howie from Prime Your Pump, entertaining and actionable self-improvement. And before we do today's lesson, I just want to remind you that girls don't fart. Bree, did you just fart? Okay, so today's lesson is about a technique developed by Edward de Bono, and it's called PMI, or plus, minus, and interesting. And you recall that Edward de Bono was one of the leading thinkers in creative thought. So what you're doing is when you make a decision, you're thinking about the pluses of the decision, the minuses of the decision, and what's interesting about the decision. So it allows you to explore, all different sides of a decision, to come up with a much more balanced view when you actually make your decision. And PMI, plus minus interesting, has 4 steps. So the first step is list out the pluses. The second step is list out the minuses. The third step is to list out what's interesting. And the fourth step, of course, is to make your decision. So let's take a look at an example. And we're going to go back to sex again because we're supposed to be entertaining here, all right? But, whether it's sex or it's business or it's football, it really doesn't matter. The principle applies to absolutely everything. But we'll stick with sex today because that seems to be what Rick and Bree have on their minds lately. So here we go. So suppose you're thinking about buying, your partner some sexy undergarments for Valentine's Day, all right? And using PMI, the first step would be to list out all the positives. It turns you on. It turns on your partner. Now understand, this is for the guys. A lot of times when you give your partner something sexy to wear, it's really a present for you and not your partner. So I think you should really think about that. So it turns you on, it turns your partner on, it turns the video operator guy who's shooting you on, if you have one there, okay? And make sure that your partner's not wearing the same old raggedy, sexy clothes that they always wear. You want to spice it up. And the second step is to list out all the negatives. Maybe the clothes are too expensive. Maybe you get caught up in a frenzy and you rip them to shreds, okay? And then you have to buy them all over again, okay? That's happened to Bree once, and she was complaining very bitterly about it, all right? Your neighbor sees you buying these clothes and thinks you're a cross-dresser, okay? You don't want to offend your partner by buying too large a size, so you may get into a little problem there. So you should probably know what size your partner is before you go out to do it. That's, by the way, doing the right thing right, okay? Or having to explain to your kids what it is in case they find it. Like, Mommy, what's this thing, all right? And now you have to explain how it's a rubber device for smacking bees that are in the house, all right? The third step is to list out all the interesting aspects, all right? So one interesting thing is it may take your sex life to a whole new level, all right? That would be great, all right? And maybe you're actually kinkier than you thought you were, all right? And you maybe become more sexually liberated. I, for one, can say when I turned 70, this happened to me. All of a sudden, I'm 70. I have no more constraints on myself. I'm sexually liberated. Most people think when they're 70 it's over. Absolutely not. That's when the fun begins, all right? Most STDs occur in 55-plus communities. So just for all the young people out there, you should realize that you have something to look forward to, okay? And the final step, of course, is using this when you make a decision. Now, after considering all the pluses, the minuses, what's interesting, okay, and you're going to make a decision, and so now you have to decide what you're going to buy your partner. So, for example, Bree decided to buy her partner a banana hammock, all right? Good for her, okay? It shows she has some guts, some gumption, okay? And she's a sexually liberated woman. Good for her, okay? Now, in terms of use it or lose it, all right, first, remember, you list out the pluses. Second, you list out the minuses. Third, you list out what's interesting. And fourth, and finally, you make the decision. So when do you use it? Whenever you want to make a well-rounded decision. that considered pluses, minuses, and interesting. And what do you think? Well, where could you use PMI in your life? Okay, should you buy some crotchless panties for yourself? On second thought, maybe this is something you should keep to yourself. I don't know. I'm just shooting in the dark here. I'm just trying to make this entertaining and actionable. All right? But just remember, until next week, all right, please remember, okay, to look at our other blog posts, and if you like them, click like, and sign up for our weekly newsletter. And until next week, remember, prime your pump.